dry runs to make sure we address this, but I think it should be working right now. Yes, so yes, I am Debbie, Director for Scalabl in the Asia team. I am actually, like many of you, I actually have a background in HR. I have been working in corporate HR for the last 18 years, and I've been specializing in talent management and leadership development, as well as HR generalist roles. So I'm actually also a certified coach and trained industrial and organizational psychologist. As mentioned earlier, I'm actually based in Hong Kong, but if my accent might reveal, I'm originally from Singapore, where I get to know some of the friends here on the call, and I think other new friends that we'll get to know. So my background has largely been working with the Asia or Asia Pacific region, and I've also then been working with leaders from companies as well, coaching them in specific areas of leadership. So the little story that brought me to Scalabl. I'm relatively new to Scalabl, joining them in just this year. And why so? So while I was in Hong Kong for the last couple of years, I was chanced upon a partner in the form of Francisco. You might see right in the center. That's the two of us. When I first brought him to my one of my previous companies, and actually working in the area of training on agile, the agile methodology, on innovation and change management for the company, which was very well received, and we had quite good successes in terms of the innovation and change management within the company. So little has it to say that I think I believed in so much on the methodology that Scalabl worked, and that's why I came over and joined Francisco. And we believe that there is a lot more opportunities as well for us to continue to extend the work that we do as well across the Asia teams. So that's where we are excited to have today for Francisco to actually share a bit on with his experience speaking to many companies and leaders across the world. The work that we've done in driving corporate transformation, using technology, using innovation, how do we get familiar with AI and all that. So maybe without further ado, I'll just briefly introduce Francisco before inviting him to share more. But his credentials, it's a long one, so I wouldn't go through all of it. But he is the CEO and founder of Scalabl team. But more so, is his background actually a renowned international speaker. More notably, he was also a keynote speaker at one of the recent G20s. That was before the pandemic. But he has also then since been speaking across multiple platforms. More notably, without him knowing probably, I just added one of the latest accolades, which is actually the LinkedIn Top Voices. So Francisco is actually a newly minted Top Voice for 2024 on LinkedIn. For those who might be wondering, the Top Voice is actually recognized for a select group of global experts who consistently demonstrate expertise and leadership in their respective fields in ways that educate, inspire, and inform the larger community on LinkedIn. So that I've learned that they're only awarded to 300 people globally across the year. And so there you go. That's Francisco, who is our newly minted Top Voice for the year. We're excited to have him here today as well to share various topics. We have various ways that we could share, but I know for some of you whom I've spoken with, you wanted to hear more about how to actually, what's all this hype about AI, about innovation, but what we wanted to do today then is to share it in a more practical way, how we can actually bring it to life for ourselves, for our teams, and for our businesses. Now we can share a lot. So I said I welcome you to actually put in your questions so that we can actually adjust that along the way. So without further ado, let me stop sharing and I'll hand the floor over to Francisco. So over to you, partner.
Thank you so much, Debbie. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thanks for waking up so early to participate. Hope the coffee is good. And I think you can agree with me that the change in the world is very rapid. And just to start the story, this occasion in which we worked with Debbie for a couple of years, I was living in Hong Kong. I was living in Hong Kong and Asia in 2018, 2019. And, I couldn't go back because of the pandemic. So I was leading the company globally from Hong Kong. And when I was in Latin America in one of the tours, the pandemic happened and I got trapped in one of those countries. And then I had to move to Estonia and then Panama just to try to come back to Hong Kong, and I could never achieve it. So, so Asia is a very special place for me. I was basing myself there because I believe the growth in Scalabl would come from Asia, and then things change. And I'm very glad to come back and focus on the region again. Uh, why do I start with change? I start with change because corporate transformation is all about the response to change. We have a world that driven by exponential technologies is changing rapidly, and this change comes not only by the quick development of these technologies, who follow the Moore's law, which implies they double their functional capabilities every year at least, and reduce by 2 their costs. But specifically, the change is important because change changes us. We are afraid to change because change can hurt, in a sense, what we're trying to achieve as people and as corporations. And when you think on the origin of corporations, the organizations we work on or we build, they are just a way of human value exchange. And they are built on a concept that they need to be repeatable. I mean, for building any company, we need to find a business model which can be scalable and repeatable. And the original concept of the corporations we now know comes from 100 years ago, at the moment we needed to start producing in scale by applying huge loads of capital just to achieve that the marginal costs of the goods could be low enough for middle classes to consume. And as you can agree with me, the world has changed so much since then that we don't need to produce in scale anymore, or this is changing very quick with the advancement of technology. We are even going to a new paradigm in which production will be totally decentralized. We can very soon will be able to print things at home. We'll be able to have materials in community centers or maybe in the supermarket or delivered online to our homes to print whatever we need. We'll be able to collaborate and build the things we use on a daily basis in a more entrepreneurial, horizontal way. What we're experiencing with AI is just one of the first waves of exponential transformation linked to technology, which in a sense are generating this chasm in a way between powerful individuals and democratization of these technologies and controls from governments and organizations that don't want to lose that power. And this is happening. I remember when I were in Hong Kong in 2019, we had this original protests where the youngs were protesting about China's involvement in Hong Kong. And it was unbelievable to live that while being there, because these young people were self-organizing by reading things online and accessing the networks. And today I imagine that with AI, they can do much more things. And in the future, with more technology, everyone will be able to do more things. And why I'm coming to this? I'm coming to this because the change changes the power of different stakeholders. And this quick change and more decision makers hurts companies in the way that this repeatability isn't possible anymore, or it's much more tougher. Whenever one of the stakeholders of the business changes their needs or accesses another type of opportunity, or the context changes with some shock and things impact the business model, these huge corporations that were prepared to repeat once and again stop working. This income stops coming in, and then we need to reinvent ourselves. And what's happening to individuals, our careers, our corporations, our business units, is that we are facing these challenges of adapting ourselves, being flexible, reinventing ourselves once and again. And we weren't trained for this. Our schools, our universities, they were all linked to the old model of repeatability. We were trained in different skills, diversifying the jobs for us to be able to perform in the old system. And everything is transforming. And when we come to this place, the first thing I want to share, and this is why I'm sharing all this, is we could think the change is linked to technology. So when I come to companies, everyone is focusing on the CTO. We're focusing on the CTO and the agile teams and the software and the hardware and the transformation and the investments and the CapEx and in the end, I'm gonna share one secret. I'm gonna share why innovation doesn't work, and I'm gonna share why the companies don't succeed in this 99 of over 100 times. And it's because innovation is nothing about technology. Innovation is all about people. I'm gonna share this in an easier way, but figure it this way. Innovation has two parts. One part is technology, ideation, invention. And that part that 100 years ago, we could say, oh, that's awesome. They invented the light bulb, whatever. Wow, innovation. Nowadays, AI is doing it itself. NVIDIA is growing like crazy. And the one who designs the chips is the same AI. So in the end, this creativity thing, innovation, grasping from different places, whatever, I'm going to show you in a minute. We have full access to using it ourselves. We don't need inventors, innovators. We have more technology that we need. And people who are in the lines of developing the new futuristic things are already working on it. We have a world in which we can access to others' technology, to others' talents, to others' services in a very easy way. In the 70s, the same corporations invented this outsourcing thing, Nikeification effect, it's called. Nike went to Asia, started outsourcing the goods, and now everyone is used to outsource, and we have suppliers for almost everything. So technology is not a problem anymore. The big problem is we human beings don't know how to speak. We know how to speak. We don't know how to listen. We don't know how to communicate. So we are afraid of saying things. Hierarchical organizations doesn't allow us to say what we need. How we build the teams was prepared for a repeatability system, not for a flexibility, adaptable system. So the issue we're facing is innovation has the ideation and the invention phase, but they have also the more important one, that it's the adoption phase, the commercialization phase. For something to be innovative, you don't only need the technology to leverage it, you need people to adopt it. And why people don't adopt these huge innovations where we spend a lot of money and whatever? Because they don't care, because they are not winning anything with it, because they are not motivated to do it, because we have this strong approach to habit and anxiety of change, and we're not willing to change unless something comes that is so useful for me, or that solves a real pain I have, or that opens a possibility I wouldn't be able to capture before. And only then things happen. And one thing I want to bring to you is, for innovation to happen, it's not only about finding where consumers are and taking them the best innovation they can afford in the right circumstance with the right business model and operative model, which is complex. You need the whole set of stakeholders to be aligned. You need your suppliers to be willing with this change. You need your employees to be willing to adopt this change. You need the distributors to be willing to be part of this change. And everything starts in conversations in the board, where board members are discussing, full of egos, with difficulties to make this happen. And then when I work with corporate transformation, it's a huge problem in the C-level and downwards. We don't have a clear innovation strategy. The CTO is not talking with the CHRO, or it's not talking with the marketing or the logistics or the operations. So we're over complexizing things. We're thinking about technology, long-term projects, huge investments, and we're not thinking about people, what they really need, why they would join, who we need to make uh, introductions between or make them speak for things to happen. And then when everything finishes, they call the CHRO and they say, okay, now we need change management because this needs to happen for tomorrow. So then everyone is doing change management, which in a sense it's interpreted as we need to push this to happen, and whoever opposes, we need to fire him. But in a sense, change management needs to be there since the beginning because innovation is change. And what we're talking when we talk about innovation is trying to make things better for human beings, for the stakeholders. And my definition of innovation is doing different things to achieve better outcomes. The part of different things is very easy. It's this invention, ideation. You bring people, you pay a supplier, you work internally, you get to the result you need. If you understand what you're trying to solve, if you have a clear strategy of why solving this can add value, and this is what's not happening. This strategy, these conversations, this way of making things happen in the real sense. So this is why I think innovation is important for HR. I think the CHRO and the HR function is a very strategic one for the future, and it needs to be involved in every moment of innovation. The recruiting of new people that we need, the training, the reskilling, the upskilling, the how we lead this governance of the companies, putting the stakeholders in the center, the agile transformation, which only means learning quicker, not moving quicker, just learning quicker, the experimentation culture, the listening culture, the conversation culture, the putting things in the table for us to discuss as a group. It doesn't mean consensus. It just means we're listening and letting people buy in, or at least involving them in the conversations. And one thing I want to share is, with everything that's happening and with the central role of CHROs, AI is one of the main things that's been driving businesses for the last 10 years. And something I want to share is Asia is much more advanced than the Western world on all these things. When I was living there in 2018 and 2019, payments were already online. China totally, and Hong Kong was super advanced. Singapore, we were paying with Grab, and every app in the cell phone was allowing you to pay. I came back to Western world until 2021, 2022. They were struggling, trying to make the QRs work for this to be possible there. And many things are much more advanced there. I was working with DeLonghi and Eversys when I was in Asia, and these robotic arms which serve coffee, whatever, which was a marketing stuff. And you must see it everywhere in Asia. It hasn't come to Western world yet. Same things about AI. Alibaba, for example, it's a world's first case, Tencent. You have companies that are doing amazing things. And we're TikTok even. We're learning a lot from Asia. But what I believe is it's very important, and it's what I'm gonna work today and try to bring you about AI and ChatGPT and even Gemini and whatever, or Copilot. What I believe we should do as HR is teach everyone in the company that AI is not for the technical people, for the agile teams, for people who are going to build the technology of the future, whatever. The concept linked to HR, to AI that we need to grasp is the most important thing about HR, about AI, and even AI in HR today, is augmented intelligence. Augmented intelligence will be my main message today. And it means that AI alone is not enough. It means that the combination that works is AI plus human being working together exponentially, getting the best of the AI to leverage the human being, which means that if this is the future, everyone in the organization should be training themselves in getting this leverage. Every employee in the organization should be using AI as a way to gain productivity, to achieve their goals, to define their objectives, to innovate in useful ways, doing different things to achieve better outcomes. And why innovation is tough when I say this definition? Because it seems simple, doing something different to achieve better outcomes. But the part of better outcomes is tough because better is different for each person. So you'll have the CEO, the CHRO, operational people, customers, suppliers, government, and they all want something different. So what is better? And that's where innovation becomes complex. You need to find a business model which is repeatable, in which everyone wins all the time. And in that sense, they want to get involved once and again for things to happen. And that's the real difficulty of innovation. And that's what we need to teach corporations, how to make this happen, how to reach those places where everyone agrees, okay? So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna share a couple of applications I've used with AI to try to use this augmented intelligence with myself and my company and different companies I help, how it can be adapted to almost every function, and it can be adapted to almost everything you wanna do. You don't need to be technical. You don't need to have programming skills. You don't need to be an engineer. You just need to want to solve something or make something better or improve what you're doing, okay? In this definition that I share of innovation, you have disruptive innovation, you have sustaining innovation, you have productivity innovation, process innovation. I'm not gonna get into it. But the main definition is this: it's just achieving better outcomes. Every day as human beings, we're trying to innovate in how we achieve things. And that's something every employee in the company should do from now on. Okay, why AI is important before driving into the examples? There are three things about AI that are fundamental for organizations and why they are adopting it. The first one is it allows scale. It allows scale in a very digital, easy way. The same thing that works in one country, you can make it work everywhere. And this is very uncommon before AI. The second thing is scope. AI works besides the generative AI, which we're gonna see now, which works with language, whatever, linked to ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. AI comes 10 years later, 10 years before, it's already making huge impacts in companies. When we use, for example, the translators online, we're using AI. When we go to any e-commerce and they suggest us products, they are using AI, whatever. And what's in the base of AI is data and patterns. So AI has this capability of getting information from customers, from people, from suppliers, and analyzing behavior and analyzing patterns, and eventually taking even automatic decisions. So this, besides scale, elevates scope. And scope means before the companies were from one vertical. They were, okay, I make shoes. Okay, my company works in healthcare. Okay, my company is this thing. Now scope means that the companies can do everything because they can grasp data from different places, different external and internal databases, and by understanding the information and the behavior of people, they have economies of scale in a sense, or they have this capability of going to different scopes and winning. The more information they have, the more powerful the AI is, and then it's better to have information of different aspects of life. They were saying before, I don't know if this is happening already, but having the TV in the home, measuring the behavior of people and informing the company could make them have a lot of power. I'm not sure if this is happening. I'm sure the cell phones are already analyzing everything about us when they are shut down and when they are open. Okay, and the third thing, which is very linked to HR again and people, is what makes AI and augmented intelligence invincible is continuous learning. The more data you have, the more you optimize the model. The more you offer services, the more you scale, the more you gain scope. The more you gain scope, the more you scale, the more data you have, the more you learn again. And that's what we need to teach everyone. Augmented intelligence is about continuous learning. The future is about continuous learning. They're starting to call the multinational companies and the corporations learning organizations, which means if I receive a shock tomorrow, I need to coordinate with everyone in the company and build something new and reinvent our vertical and reinvent our products and reinvent our structure and reinvent whatever, like magicians. And it's because the future is completely different. And organizations are not even the best way of organizing for the future. So we need to change everything about this. And it's a very challenging moment in life. Okay, now I'm going to share some things linked to ChatGPT and Gemini and whatever. And I think it's going to be the part you like the most. But I wanted to do this introduction because in the end, this is why we're playing this. This is the game we're playing. This is what's happening in the world. This is what change brings and what we need to be prepared for. And AI is only one of hundreds of technologies. Very soon, and Asia is very advanced again, robots will be everywhere. AI will be merged with robots. IoT will be everywhere. We will have a quantum computing, which will drive things to a crazy place. We will have a we have nanotechnology. We still have anything is coming. You can't imagine. We can edit human DNA live now with a technology called CRISPR. It's very crazy. Okay, let's see. Well, the first thing I'm gonna share is I'm gonna work for today with ChatGPT just to choose one tool. Whatever I'm gonna do, what's important for you to know, you can do it in any technology. You can do it with Microsoft. You can do it with Gemini. You can do it with any of those technologies. In a sense, what I'm showing today with ChatGPT, don't worry about the language. I'm gonna work in English. This is just a chat tool in which you interact with the chat tool and you're gonna get results. I'm gonna start from the base in case you've never used it or you use it occasionally or whatever, and I'm gonna try to share some main concepts that I believe are important, and then I'm gonna go to a little bit advanced level, okay? But in an intuitive way. The first thing I wanna share is, if you see in the left, you have my different conversations with the chatbot, okay? It's just a chatbot. And if you see here, it says scalable proposal generator, scalable product, scalable SEO, scalable marketing, digital marketing, scalable social networks, scalable contents, scalable competitive advantages, whatever. These are my employees. I'm going to start this way, which means I have virtual employees for every function of my company, which means I have them trained in a way they can do functions. For example, the scalable product manager knows my portfolio better than me or better than the team. If you see here, I've asked him before the session very quickly, briefly describe the main product, services, and differentials of our portfolio in English. Okay, you have asynchronous courses, you have learning communities linked to books, AI, innovation, all access, whatever. We do training and development B2B, we have corporate consulting. For each of this, I could ask the chatbot, okay, we have a Crystal Hong, she's an expert in this and whatever, and she wants to achieve this, and she wants a career plan linked to this, and the company has an evaluation for her that is this way. Which would be the best path of knowledge within the services we offer, and which would be the best proposal for her to use Scalabl in a maximum way, blah, 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 for her objectives. And this tool will answer. Why? Because it's a GPT which is prepared to understand deeply what we do, why we do it, which are the things we offer, which are the skills we can develop, and then adapt it and personalize it, which is some strength from AI, to different use cases. But I use this product manager also to position my products in every communication, to position my products on websites, to position my products when I speak to someone specific, adapting it to the case. And this is only one of the things. This SEO and digital marketing helps me know which are the keywords I need to use in every place, in every communication, to have good SEO, to communicate what I want to communicate. And the digital marketing helps me optimize my digital marketing campaigns. The social networks and contents writes at least the base of my posts for TikTok, for Instagram, for LinkedIn, where I'm a top voice and I use it deeply. And what I do is I train it in a way in which it reflects totally my writing style. It thinks with me the ideas, it suggests way of generating content, and then we write it together. In the same sense, I'm going to show you here, I wrote my own book. This is Spanish, but if you see, it's a full book, 300 pages, and I just designed the process of how to build it, and now I'm writing it with my own grammar, I mean, with my own expressions, whatever, but over at the third revision, we did together. So in a sense, it organized my whole knowledge, okay? The other thing I'm able to do with what we built is I built a training content. So for example, one thing I wanted to do is to learn about sales. So I did a researcher, and this researcher was finding out which were the best sales books in the world, written about every part of the sales process. So while we discovered which were the best sales books, we were figuring out which were all the steps and opportunities and technical issues and whatever linked to sales. So we built a sales map. And to do that, after some attempts, we wrote this PDF that, as you can see, has 54 units. Each unit is linked to a part of the sales process, like top of the funnel, prospection, and first contact, and you have every book linked to this. And then I go to prospection and first contact, whatever is part 2, every book linked to this. And then outbound, this was inbound, I think. Then you have inbound, then you have digital marketing, then you have LinkedIn, then you have the first part of the sales process in Instagram, whatever. For each of them, I got all the best books. Once I got all the best books, I wrote each of the sections with the ChatGPT, including the best of the best books. So with this, I built a 1,400 pages document in which I have the best information in sales that we have in the world. I'm the only one who has it, unless someone else has been willing to build something like this. And why is this important? This is important because the moment I build it, I build a new GPT, I feed it with this document, and that GPT has access to the best information in sales and can suggest strategies linked to the best information in sales. So then I can put it into practice with different businesses and optimize and learn and teach the bot with my own results. And here comes the most important things before sharing more stuff. The big change I want to share today is this one. It's not about knowledge. It's not about asking AI what to do. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with searching or asking questions or telling them, please, GPT, help me do this. It's about leveraging your own strengths. It's about leveraging your own reasoning, leveraging your own protagonism and capability of innovating or doing your job. And why I'm saying this? Because if you ask a ChatGPT in a regular window to do anything of what I told you to do, what I told you I do, it won't work. It will lie. It will say anything. It will confuse itself. And why is this? Because imagine being a super skilled little boy with a super intelligence and you have all the knowledge of the world. Well, it's tough. If they ask you something, how do you know where to go and reach that information? I tell you, solve this problem for me. Okay, I don't have the context. I have never solved that problem. I have millions of methodologies and possibilities of how to myself decide how to solve the problem. So, and this is the most important thing. In this stage of AI, they don't have enough time to choose how to do it, build a process, execute the process, because AI today is linked to short, very, very short sprints of seconds in which they have like a blitz chess, 2-3 seconds to think. So I'm saying, solve my problem like this. and it has 3 seconds to check the information related and solve it. They don't give us unlimited time and unlimited memory of these bots. So as human beings, the first thing we need to do for augmented intelligence to work is to limit the bot. We need to offer him a role. We need, or her, we need to offer a methodology. We need to offer tools. We need to cut everything that has nothing to do with what we are trying to solve. And even though they will continue confusing themselves and they won't be able to solve the problem in the first step. So we need to design a process with them for them to solve the problem. And that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of interaction. It's much more nurturing, like an employee which is starting their learning curve. And in the beginning, they're confusing themselves. They are doing things wrong. They are not working well. But in the future, they will solve problems for you. Today, they are complicating my life. And this is pure HR experience. How I'm gonna bring employees into the companies, do the onboarding, train them, and put them into the culture and make them work. Okay, it's the same thing we need to do with each window, with each bot, for them to be able to do their job well. They need their role, they need the methodology, and they need the information, the contextual information, the circumstances, the problematic, and especially what you want to accomplish and why. The good thing about this is once you have your objective and you have a clear purpose of why you're using this window of ChatGPT, for example, you can build with the same bot the process, you can build with the same bot the reasoning and everything. So for example, imagine you are in HR and you want to build a succession path. So then the first thing you can say is, hey, ChatGPT, your role will be to work together with me to build a succession plan for my best employees to reach the C-level. Okay, so the first thing you could ask is, okay, which are the possible methodologies you could use to make this happen? And he says, maybe this and that. Okay, research the HR literature and psychology literature of the last 100 years and bring me the best titles linked to succession planning and career development and whatever. And he brings things. Okay, now bring me the best concepts in each book and the things that are more actionable and that we could use. Oh, bring me a survey for me to understand which are the key characteristics or competences my board needs. Oh, wow. And now bring me, so you design with the same chatbot, which will be the process to make things happen. You ask him or her, I don't know, you ask the bot how you should express things to him for this to work. And then you correct him and guide him. And whatever he sends you, you choose and you send it back to him to say, I cut it like this. I think this is important. I don't like this so much, whatever. And over time, they learn. And when they learn, you can do like me. I go to each of these windows and they work for me as if they were the best companion ever. They're willing to do anything for me and they do it in a fantastic way. But for each of them, I've spent days and days and days of work and I've been using this for 2 years. So it's super refined. But what I have here that I'm only showing you very quickly, it's augmented intelligence. I'm much smarter now, and he's much smarter now, and we together can build things. And that connection is what we want, and we need every employee in the company to build with AI. And the only ones who could make this happen is HR. AI can help us develop people, improve communications, improve emotional intelligence, train people for succession, build our evaluation processes to see who's good, who's bad, try to see with AI who should be in which place in the company, assure we have a common strategy. There's so many things you can do and you just need to choose what, okay? I'm gonna share one more example in the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm gonna try to show you how to build a GPT and how simple it is, okay? The first thing is I'm gonna share this. This is an app, okay? It has probably ChatGPT within it, okay? So nowadays, I say this is not technical, why? because programming is disappearing. Everything linked to software development is already, the future is AI will do it. It does this fantastically already, and this is exponential. It will come a very, very close moment in which this will happen alone. So there's a thing called no code, and no code allows anyone to build their own app, to build their own software, whatever. So there are many, many startups that I work with, which take ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot or Microsoft technology, whatever, and they build their app. And their app uses the thing in a way that solves specific issues. Even more, the next step in AI is agents. The agents will be able, you will tell them what to do, and they will be able to train themselves till they get it done. They won't need us to fix and correct and guide and 1,000 sprints for them to learn and whatever. They will do it alone. They will confuse themselves, whatever, till they get to the point they know how to do it. You will say, okay, they will experiment, which is the word of the future, and it will work. Okay, look at this up. It's called Opus Pro. You just upload a video. Imagine you in HR, record the session. You do an online session and you record it, okay? Like any of these sessions we did in Scalabl. And then you bring it into this tool, you upload the video, and it automatically generates more than 10 reels linked to the same video. So you could say, okay, it cuts the thing in 10 parts and it gives you 10 reels. And no, not at all. It thinks on the content, the thing you're sharing. It builds the videos related for them to be coherent within each other. And it analyzes the thing. If the hook of how you start the reel is good, if the flow is interesting, if it could be for value for your segment, and if it's trending, the topic you're talking about. Then you can go to edit clip, and without knowing anything about videos, you can see the full clip. This is part of a video I have on the future. It's fantastic. It worked. And then it puts it from an horizontal way into a vertical way. And if you see this, this is the original video. So in this case, it cut like this, but sometimes it decides to add a little square from here, a little vertical part from here, and a little circle from here, and it puts it together immediately. It's unbelievable. And they put the voices to speak at the same time. I'm going to show an example in Spanish, but you won't believe what it does. This is only one tool. Now we can translate live. We have universities already, which I'm working with, that are firing the professors and using avatars instead, and they work perfectly. They are designing the curriculums, they are designing the topics and designing the recording together. So everything is changing and disruption is coming so fast that it's unbelievable. Okay, what I want to share to end, it's a very short session, but the idea is for us to keep in touch and continue going deeper into any of these things, no? There's many things we can do. Okay, this is Francisco Santolo GPT. It's trained like me. He thinks like me, he feels like me, because you would say, no, AI doesn't feel. Yeah, they feel. It doesn't mean they are feeling the feelings, but they think as if they feel. And they excite themselves and they are grateful and they whatever, and it's fantastic how they do it. They do it in the same way than you. Why? Because they copy your behavior. So I fed it with my articles, with my book, I fed it with my videos, with my podcasts, and every time we interact, I correct him. Okay, those are not my values. No, I wouldn't act this way in this situation. No, I would take care of people, and I built this thing. And this same Francisco Santolo GPT, which has all these limits on values, on how they think, passion for learning, the books we read, our authors, our influences, whatever, is the same GPT, which is my product manager, which is my proposal builder, which is my social networks communicator, my LinkedIn post. So whatever I do in product, in SEO, in social network, whatever has the company has my values, my way of thinking, my way of acting, of taking care of people, and this becomes very powerful. And you could do this one for each employee of your company, being like the right hand helping them to achieve things. How do you do this? Then I asked. It must be very complex for Francisco to have designed his own GPT working as himself. No, it's super simple. You go to explore GPTs and you will have a lot of GPTs in each platform. You will have the same thing. You'll have a lot of GPTs which are already done by other people who help you write presentation. Okay, I didn't show you, but once I did this sales thing with all the content and books and whatever, I put it into a Canva presentation without any effort. I have my presentation for my course, which is fantastic, very beautiful, whatever, and it takes a couple of hours because it's all done with the same AI, and it has 150 slides, you know? So almost everything you can do if you focus on trying to practice with this. You don't need anything. I don't know how to code or whatever. So here you go to My GPTs and you build Create a GPT. Create a GPT is starting to build one GPT which will help you with a specific function. How you do this? It's very simple. Here in Create, it's just speaking with the bot. He says, I will help you build a GPT. So you start saying, okay, I would like to build this GPT. The important thing here is to put a clear objective. I would like to build a logo builder, a branding and logo builder. You can do it much better. You can give him details and context and their roles and their inspirations and who they try to learn with and whatever. But imagine you do it like, okay, sometimes it falls because of the connection. The thing is, he will guide you and then he will say, okay, how do you want to build the process? Okay, you'll ask me 3 questions and with 3 questions, you need to build a logo. Okay, how I'm going to be called? Okay, like this. Can I build an image for my profile? Yes. And you finish this and you already have the bot working. If this doesn't work, or if you want to do it in another way, there's another one that is configure. When you put configure, you just put it like this, logo bot. Description, you are a GPT that creates logos, but you can do anything with this, anything linked to HR, and it will work. Instructions, you will ask me 3 questions, and with that information, you will create a logo. Simple as this. You can add any file you want for it to have information or draw information, and you don't need anything else. You put create and you have a bot ready, update. And you have the bot already. You can add much more instructions, limits, whatever. But if you can go and see the GPT, look how it works. Hi, what do you do? Hello, I specialize in designing logos for you. I'll ask you 3 simple questions. Go ahead. It's very intuitive. You don't need anything. Which is the name of your business? What style do you prefer? What specific colors? I'm a coffee shop. I prefer a square logo. I love green. Whatever, no? Let's see what it comes up with. We built it in 1 second. Coffee shop, no thanks. No more details. You can build it as complex as you want, just by interacting with text. Give me a moment and it's working already. And we can share this with anyone. I can, for example, go here. After it finishes, I'm going to show you. And I'm going to share you that here you have it. Okay, but thanks. I would like it. Like it brighter and add the coffee shop text to it. I don't know, anything. You can see the little cup and you can guide them. I'm applying what we built, but this is already logo bot. I have it here. I can talk with this guy as many times as I want. And I can also use coffee shop and I already have this, but this is my bot. It's not my interaction with it. So if I go to, if I go to the explore GPTs, my GPTs, I will have it in my GPTs and I will be able to edit it. So don't be scared. If you build something very simple, you can always improve it. So I can go here and add whatever instruction I want, or go here and chat with it to improve it. And the best thing here is when I update it, let's see, I updated, okay, it's only with invitation, but I can copy the link. I think I can configure the access there. And if I copy the link and I go to Zoom, I could share with you the same information. So I go to the chat and you should be able to access this GPT and build logos. So imagine with this, in seconds, you can build GPTs for your company to use. So you can build one GPT to answer questions linked to processes of the company or linked to politics, HR politics, or no, policies, not politics. And you can do whatever and share with the people, and they will, by using it, it will improve. So one thing I've been sharing in human resources is you have the suppliers that want to sell you $1 million projects linked to innovation for you to have technical stuff building things. And what I want to do is go back to the same concept. Innovation is not about technology. Innovation is about people. It's about people behavior. It's about people growth. It's about people adaptability. It's about reskilling. It's about upskilling. It's about learning, growing, feeling. And the only ones who can handle this transformation are you. And whatever you have in your imagination to innovate in AI, you just need to spend time with this tool or any of these tools, nurturing them, teaching them, adding your context, adding articles, adding HR information you have in PDF, whatever, and it will work in a fantastic way. The moment you experiment, you put it to work with a little group of people and it works, you can hire the supplier, but you will know it's very easy to do and you won't pay a fortune for it, okay? That's what I wanted to share. Sorry, I'm 3 minutes late. I'm open for questions. I know you must be needing to leave quickly, but I'm here if you want to chat for a little while. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Francisco, and thank you everyone who are still staying on with us. We know that a couple of colleagues who had to leave for other meetings. Well, we did mention that this was a session for us to learn as well. And like Francisco just mentioned, right? This is also our way of practicing agile. Like we put this to work with a small group of people. I think our learning from this is we probably need more time. And
yeah, maybe.
Would also then put it into cut it into different sessions on the different topics as well, so that we are able
it's very broad
respective thoughts. Thank you for staying on. We actually have more to share, like I mentioned, but I guess in the interest of time, we probably would wrap up soon. And I know that it will free you up to your other meetings. I just sent out a little poll, and if you could use that to share across your any feedback or comments for us, that would be most appreciated. I just wanted to, and whilst you do that, maybe I'll try to wrap it. I had a couple of slides, but I probably will do without. I just want to quickly bring through some of the key concepts. Just to add to what Francisco shared, I think what we saw, right, was some quick examples, but very powerful ones as well, in terms of how we can actually start to familiarize ourselves with ChatGPT and AI. I did mention in the chat as well, I think across the different geographies that we have today, there are different restrictions, I understand, like ChatGPT, you can't in some countries. But the idea here is, and I know this because I've been in HR as well, and I know how it feels that, we feel that we might not be the expert in everything. Francisco shared an example of how we can make use of ChatGPT to, plan HR policies or strategies. I would share my personal example that I've used it in areas out of HR, right? So we say we start having a marketing expert, we have or we use, I think some of you mentioned before, you want to have employee engagement. Don't feel like you have to be the expert. You can set up a ChatGPT to help do that. My own idea, as I was learning from Francisco, is I actually used ChatGPT to start help design this session that you are here today. We asked ChatGPT if we have to bring in a good group of HR people, what topics should we be talking about, right? How should we do it? How should we invent the poster? So even the little poster that was done by AI, by just giving them the right. So I wanted to share that as a quick example, is that we don't have to think, that not just big innovation projects, but it can actually start from each and every one of us. And you can start back to the tool. I shared some examples. I know in the different geographies. If you use VPN, for example, you should be able to get through some. Others, you could just find whatever available platform that you have. But don't let any of that stop you, I guess, if there's an obstacle. But my suggestion really to be um, start trying that for yourself. Think about then how you want to also enable your teams or your leaders about this mindset shift. Like Francisco mentioned, I think it was a good point. It's not just about the technology that you bring in, but the mindset and the people that you want to start influencing. And I think all of you here, as leaders in your own right, would be able to do that. So I just wanted to end off to say here, we didn't share all of that. We hope we could cover more. But I will also I know some of you had questions as well on how we can actually best help you with that. So do let us know too if you think about this after the session. Feel free to reach out. We appreciate your feedback and we look forward to seeing you at the next Scalable event. Thank you everyone and have a good rest of the Friday. And take care.